Billiken fans, welcome back. It is Zach Miller and Peter Hale. This is the Midtown Madness Podcast. As you are probably tired of hearing me say, before we get going, thank you all so much for listening. And of course, if you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Also, comment down below. This episode's going to have a lot of chances for anyone listening to offer their opinion on some of these. We're going to call them awards. We'll get into it. We'll explain it all. But get ready. It's coming up right now.
Sounded fine.
It's World Cup season, Pete. We got the Tim Ream jersey back here. It's time. I feel like the World Cup is going to be like when, this basketball season. Like, I'm kind of dreading it. I'll be excited when it gets here, but for now, I'm going to dread it with nerves and whatnot. But anyway, when you're watching the games, they're in the American time zone. They're in the Central time zone, whatever. We get to watch them at a normal time of day. And that would be snacking time, whether that be an afternoon snack with a 2 p.m. game or, that late night snack when the U.S. is over on the West Coast playing their games. And the best thing you can do for that experience is go head over to your local grocery store or online and pick up a jar of 2 Men in a Garden salsa to pair with your favorite chip while you are catching all of the World Cup action. If you're an out-of-town Billiken fan or you, forget to buy while you're at the store, use the QR code at the bottom of the screen or the link in the description. Head over to their website, enter that code MMP, get all that salsa shipped for free. They are the St. Louis Salsa and Pickle Company, bringing you from everything from mild to screaming hot salsa, hot mango and sugar-free, plus pickles from classic dill and smoky barbecue. And what better way to watch Tim Ream, St. Louisan through and through, captain the United States national team with St. Louis Salsa and Pickles. Visit them online at 2 Men in a Garden. Like I said, follow them on social media at 2 Men Salsa on Instagram and Twitter for their latest updates. Pete, I mentioned it a little bit in that ad read. The good this week. The good is that a St. Louis University Billiken is captaining the United States men's national team for the World Cup. Is this a first?
I don't know, actually, Zach. It could have been possible that, like, back in the day, because like how many great U.S. men's players came through, like the mid 20th century came through SLU. So that's a really good question. I got to check on that.
Now
it's got to be a first for the
World
A10.
Cup. It's got to. Yes, it does. I think it's got to be a first for the actual World Cup.
For the World Cup.
I could see friendlies or Copa America or any of the other.
I know that's happened before, but for a World Cup.
I mean, McBride would have had to have been captain at some point. Sorber, as he went into coaching afterwards, feels like he would have been captain material. And I know Tim Ream has probably put on the armband before. So, you know what? That was a dumb question I just asked, Pete.
Why is that?
Because I already knew that Tim Ream had already captained the U.S. men's national team.
Yeah, he has, but yeah, this for the World Cup. This is the first. He's done, from what I can find, he's done 21 games as captain, which is the 13th most ever by any player.
And not to piss on his Cheerios or whatever, but feels like if he was not there as a captain, they probably could have found someone else younger to fill the role. But I feel like,
sure,
he's kind of that, the Eruzione type. Every team needs a thumper, Johnny. If you know that, do you know that reference?
I do. Yeah. From Miracle.
Hell yeah. No. Miracle is Eruzione. I threw in 2 hockey movies at you at once. I went with Miracle. Miracle was Eruzione. And then every team needs a thumper is Mystery Alaska.
Okay, you got my signals crossed. You can't do 2 references at 1 second.
I'm sorry. That was rude. That was the bad this week. The bad was 2 references at once.
By the way, I think Tim Ream just passed Marcelo Balboa, Landon Donovan, and Clint Dempsey, and now he's 10th most after the friendlies they just played. So yeah, he's by the time that this is done, he should be around top 6 at least.
That's crazy. He is the the longevity with which he's had
Yeah.
in professional soccer has been crazy. But before we get there, we'll talk about the U.S. men's national team. What are we doing here? Is the Mizzou game going to happen? Because no announcement has been made. Some rumblings on the Discord of some random people saying this is weird. Like they've heard that things are not going well, and then that same person just said like this weekend that they had heard that they've been signed, sealed, and delivered. So I don't know what's going on, but you got to wonder who leaked this in the first place. If there was still some friction to get it done, obviously someone had a vested interest in making sure that this was adjudicated in public opinion.
Yeah, I do. It is weird that we've seen their other, like the DePaul game and some of those other games already publicly announced, like several of those, right? But we haven't seen this one yet, despite the Rothstein and other people who leaked it. It makes you wonder, Zach, like what still needs to be hammered out here? Like what are those details? The rev share, the gate, that kind of stuff. Like what's going on here? The site, like what is still at stake? How serious is it? We did get a tweet from Stu Durando, basically trying to calm, because I think they saw that people had started to worry about this. But on June 4th, he tweeted out that Josh Schertz said SLU and Mizzou are, quote, working through contract logistics toward finalizing their game next season at Enterprise Center. Both sides want the game to happen. We're working through logistics, and I feel very confident we'll get to the finish line soon, he said. So there you have it, Zach. I guess we're not quite officially official, but that sounded more positive than some of the worrying we saw leading up to it, for sure.
By the way, my apologies. I barely missed the mute button on that sneeze. I think like at the end of the day, this is going to have to get done. And I think we saw the notice, Stu Durando noticing. And I think that's what Billiken fans have really done well, is just making people aware of just bringing things to light. Billiken fans are online more than I think most A10 schools, at least publicly, right? Like the Dayton fans have their Facebook group, whatever. But
Right.
I think Billiken fans have just been, when something's weird, we're not afraid to yell about it. And I think that helps when it comes to something like Mizzou holding up their end of the bargain.
That's right.
So,
Yeah, absolutely. And if it comes down to Mizzou holding up their end of the bargain, forgive us for being a little cynical about our expectations
extremely cynical.
there.
Yeah. Let's first go into some men's soccer, and then we will talk basketball, and then after that basketball, we are going to get into what I am called. I don't have a name for it yet. This is our concept of an award show. We're going to do some objective awards, or I guess they're all subjective, but like we're going to do a show award, but then like some of the awards will just be our opinions. Each individually will have our own choice. So it'll make sense. But if you have any ideas for the names of the awards or how we could do this better, let us know and we'll make those changes. But let's get into some soccer, Pete.
Yeah, let's do it, Zach.
Into a corner. Pete, we talked about it early in the show, or I guess in the preview, that we are early in the show now. And that is that Tim Ream has been named captain of the U.S. men's national team for the 2026 World Cup. Pete, what do you think about his I guess the United States' chances under Captain America Tim Ream?
Before I get to that answer, Zach, I want to answer something we left hanging in the introduction, and that is he the first Billiken to captain a men's national team during the World Cup? And that's kind of a trick question. Billiken player, yes, he's the first. But Harry Keogh was one of the co-captains of the 1950 World Cup and went on to coach at St. Louis University. So in my book, makes him a Billiken, but Reem is the first Billiken player to actually captain the team, which is pretty great because there have not been many guys to do this at all. When you go through the list here, it's in backwards order: Tim Ream, Tyler Adams, Clint Dempsey, Carlos Bocanegra, and then you had Claudio Reyna in '02 and '06, Thomas Dooley in that terrible 1998 World Cup. It was Tony Meola in '94, last time it was in the U.S., Mike Windishman in 1990, and then the cup before that was 1950 when Harry Keogh and two other teammates were co-captains, and then in the '30s Tom Flory and George Morehouse. So not many people ever have done it during the World Cup. So it easily makes Reem the first Billiken player to do it. But it's crazy that we've had two St. Louis University Billikens, maybe maybe not after playing there, but two Billikens to do it. I don't think any other college can claim two.
Yeah, no, I wanted to also, I had an inkling that Vedad might have captained Bosnia, but he did
Oh,
not.
good call. Yeah.
And I don't think Botswana made a World Cup with Dipsy.
Mm.
So yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he
Um,
ever did play on it. Yeah.
so what does the draw look like for the Americans?
Yeah, so circling back to that, I think you have to like our group, Zach.
I like
Paraguay.
all the groups because they're all just completely spread out and like the most. It's like letting in average teams to the NCAA tournament.
The 48 team World Cup definitely watered down the competition a lot, right? So
Yeah.
our group, the other teams are Paraguay, Australia, and Turkey. Turkey was the last group to get in because they went through that extra round of qualifiers out of the European bracket. Australia usually not very strong; they're not terrible, and then Paraguay, obviously not by a long shot are they the toughest competition out of South America. I think they like this team though. I mean, they got a huge send off the other night. I don't know if you saw a video of that, but it was pretty incredible. But they did just have like a striker go down with a horrible injury. So I think the group is pretty open for that reason. Turkey's probably the best other team here. I think it would be a surprise and a major disappointment if the U.S. does not get out of this group. Um,
Oh God, yeah.
how far beyond the group they get, that's the real question, right, Zach?
Yeah, I mean this now makes winning a World Cup that much harder. It's another what round or two in the non-group stage or in the knockout round.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
but what do you think of these jerseys? What do you think of the kits? I think from now on, like the United States has to be some sort of like off kilter hoop. Like it
Mm.
just or it has to be a hoop of some kind. It has to
I,
be.
I think they're fine. I don't love them. I don't
I
hate them. I
really
think
like I
they're
really
solid.
like the white and red.
The white and red, yeah.
The
Yeah,
blue is just whatever.
yeah, that's the better one. I agree with that. It's so funny because like we're always going to be compared to that '94 denim kit that was so
I've been watching the Vice
yeah.
America's Soccer Dream or whatever.
Right, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's like the most American kit of all time. But
Oh God.
not that it was my favorite. I actually really like what do they call the bomb pop ones?
Yeah.
The big red block, small white, big blue
Yeah.
at the
I,
bottom.
I like that one.
Those are among my favorites. But yeah, no, they look good overall. And I
Hurl
don't know, Zach. Go
Hurley is
ahead.
a Nike brand, and they have made like board shorts, like swim trunks, essentially like swim trunk versions of the World Cup uniform.
Mm.
And I have two pairs of them, and I have no idea if they're gonna make a pair this year. I guess I gotta check. I think I've got like the last like two World Cups. Just ran. I don't know. That's a weird fact about me, I guess.
I'm looking at the red and white one more, and I do I like the more angles I get of it, I like it more. It it looks pretty good on Like I like it
It's
better
the
up
Waldo,
close.
but it's like
Yeah.
a grown up Waldo kit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I think it's better up close than it is like on a broadcast,
I will say that
right?
it does give me a little AI vibes. I don't the coloring,
Oh,
like the texturing. I don't
interesting.
know. Weird. I don't know. Ignore me. Whatever.
Yeah.
Let's get into the basketball. I because people don't care about what our takes on the U.S. men's national team. Um, men's basketball, Pete. Summer practices are starting June 8th already.
Yes, they are, Zach. And they're going to get overshadowed a little bit by the World Cup, unfortunately. Normally all of the sports media attention would be in Midtown, covering the start of summer practices, wouldn't
Are we going on a World Cup break?
it?
Uh,
I doubt it. I
no.
doubt they're going to give that up. But
Uh,
yeah, summer practices start June 8th. I think other teams, I think they had the ability because they have like a block of time in the summer, right? And if they wanted to start a week ago, they could have, like the women did. And I know some other teams did, but they're going to be starting, today as this comes out, Monday the 8th.
oh
And
shoot! It's already June 8th.
we've been seeing, yeah, man. And then we've been
Oh god.
seeing, players, Jamel Thomas, for example, the freshman, saw him moving in, shared it on social media. Kid seems super excited to be here. So hopefully we've got a full squad by the time they get underway.
Pete, we gotta talk about the Protect College Sports Act? Have we talked about that?
We talked about
I feel like we talked about this.
we've kind of talked about the proposal, but no, we didn't really actually get into this. This was one
Uh
of those things I put in the notes like almost 2 weeks ago, like right after our last
oh
episode.
yeah. I mean,
And
may
so
should we just put it off? I mean, it's not going anywhere.
I think we should at least introduce it so that next
Yes.
time we can just kind of hit the update. I don't think this will take all that long, Zach, but you're referring to the Protect College Sports Act, which was introduced by Senators Ted Cruz of Texas and Maria Cantwell of Washington, bipartisan bill on Wednesday, the 27th of May, co-sponsored by Chris Coons of Delaware and who else, Zach, but Eric Schmidt of Missouri, who has been popping in and out of those offices in Midtown as he kind of gets involved in this topic. But there's a lot of proposals in here, and I don't think it's going to be. This is not an easy one to get across the finish line, Zach.
No, we're gonna dig into it. And we're gonna do it next week. So stay tuned for next week's episode of the Midtown Madness Podcast for the conclusion. Yeah, I don't really want to get into it tonight. I think we should get nostalgic instead. And let's talk about awards. Let's recap the entire athletic department season. We'll start with men's basketball. Um, Again, I'm open to ideas for names. I had mid awards. They're the mid. They're very mid. The Maddies, which now that I'm saying it sounds like a girl's name. I don't know if we should do that. But men's basketball, they deserve a lot of awards. They have earned a lot of awards, Pete, and they did so with a 29-6 record, 15-3. Give us a little bit of the team hardware or accomplishments.
A10 regular season championship, which I think you would say is theirs
So,
outright.
yes, outright Atlantic 10 champions.
They don't have to put VCU's name on the banner. The NCAA tournament appearance, NCAA tournament win. You had the conference player of the year for the first time since 2014, Robbie Avila, obviously also on the first team with that award. You had three guys on the third team, Trey Green, Amari McCaffrey, Kellen Thames. You had Dion Brown on the defensive team. I think any of those guys could have been, sort of jumbled up however you want. Trey Green probably not going to make the all defensive team, but I think you could have argued that Thames or a couple other guys could have as well. Brown had a very strong claim to make the third team. So I'm glad we had this many different players get honored individually, Zach, on those all conference teams, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I think we were a little nervous, that we would kind of cannibalize our own
Yeah.
roster. And fortunately, everyone got recognized, and I felt should have. I think we probably could have thrown Trey Green on there somewhere, but you know, you take what the league gives you. It's got to be kind of. It feels like they kind of try to spread it out among everybody and make sure that everybody has a player on some team.
Yeah,
Um,
well, we did get Trey Green on. It was really the omission of the guys who I think could have had a claim was Quentin Jones. He was kind of the odd man out. He could have been third team. He
oh,
could have been
Green
all
did.
def
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Oh my
he,
God,
he
losing
he
my
could have been all
freaking
defensive.
mind.
So Jones to me is the one like out of those. We got five guys honored in some way, and we just didn't have room for one more, which is unfortunate but understandable. This was a team that just really spread out the production.
Let's talk about our show individual awards. Pete, I think MVP is solidified, and it's not going to be. I don't think it's going to really be an argument here. Like I don't think we're going to disagree.
No, I think it's Robbie Avila all the way, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, look, like he made things work. He was the facilitator. He was truly the most valuable player. Um, and he is the talisman, as they say in soccer circles. Let's talk about breakout performances because I think with the influx of talent and the reemergence of certain players,
Mhm.
there's a lot of players that are suited to this award.
I think there really are. And it's a tricky one with this team, right? Because you have some guys who were in places where they really produced a lot, but they were just doing it under the radar on terrible teams, like a Quentin Jones. You have Dion Brown, who at his first stop, UMBC, put up huge numbers and then went to an ACC school, started, but just didn't put up big numbers there, right? You had, Amari McCautry, who did show us a little bit as a freshman. You had Kellen Thames, who had stretches of seasons that were excellent, but never really put together a full, like, excellent season. He was solid, and he's gotten better. So it's really kind of a tough call. But if you had to give it to one guy, Zach, what are you thinking?
Man, I think it's got to be like I would go with Trey Green.
Mm, yeah.
I just think he was such an him or Ishan. I think both of those guys were such unknowns. They're young as well. They were both sophomores,
Yeah.
so I think given those two factors, I think either one of those would be amazing. I think Trey Green, just for his consistency, would
Mhm.
probably be the go-to guy, the more versatility, even though Sharma showed great versatility as the season progressed, but in smaller doses.
I think as the pure like sort of surprise breakout star, or who nobody really saw coming at all, is Sharma, right? Because he had some huge games, he had some record-setting games. You're right, not as consistent, but a guy who really wasn't on anybody's radar. Trey Green was a little more highly touted out of high school, never really got a chance at Xavier in the year, 2 years that he was there. So we never really saw who he was supposed to be. But those, to me, those are the two guys who I think have the most claim to this award. With apologies to Callan Thames.
I think you have convinced me. I think it is a unanimous. This award goes to Ishan Sharma.
Yeah, the really, because Trey Green was going to be a starter, right? Like we knew he was a
Yes.
starter. We knew he was supposed to be a guy. I think the expectations were high, but I think like when you looked at Sharma, Dunlap, like when you kind of looked at the guys who weren't necessarily starters, it was sort of like everybody kind of had their own favorite for who the dark horse guy was going to be. So yeah, Zach, I think he was a little more unexpected.
Uh, Pete, who is your favorite player this season?
Oh man, I gotta give it to
I
Robbie. Like I said it, like in addition to everything you said before, he was the leader. He was the beating heart of this team. He was the identity, the face of the team, the very unorthodox.
See,
Not what you expect for a basketball star. Go
I would
ahead.
say Kellen was the beating heart. I felt
Okay,
like his just I feel like his swagger carried that team at some points.
that's fair. So maybe Robbie was the steady hand.
Yeah.
But yeah, by the time he took the managers out to dinner, Zach, that was it.
Oh,
He stole
that's
my heart.
swaggy as hell. Couldn't do that 5 years ago.
So the favorite player isn't always the best player. In this season, it is for me, Zach.
No, and that's what I love about the discussion.
Yeah, but what about you? Is the favorite player
I
the MVP?
I actually hate greatest of all time talk. Like I hate that. I
Yeah, I do
hate
too.
it's awful. It's stupid and pointless.
Hmm.
I always think the discussion should be like, who's favorite? Who's your favorite? Let's talk about it.
Hmm.
I think it's Dion Brown. I just think that like he brought everything that you as that makes you stand up and go, oh wow. Like
Hmm.
he brought, how many times did he go flying across the court after a loose ball or
Yep.
lay out for a steal or get down low among guys that are twice his height and he just did all the things that fans love to watch.
Yeah.
Obviously you have the purists who are skill. The guy brought skill, but he had flair and he also played that blue collar style.
When you're 6'3" and you lead a team in rebounding, you're going to be a fan favorite, right? Like you're the guy
Yes.
who you're hitting the deck, you're setting the tone. Against Georgia, he had the first basket of the first and second half that set the tone in that game. It was the basket we hunt, right? It was an uncontested, no dribble layup, and he made it happen. And then just the rebounding, the effort,
Yeah.
the energy never ever ever gave up. The only time you can get mad at that guy is when he's picking up his fourth foul 56 feet from the basket as he's fouling a ball handler in the backcourt. But other than that, man, I mean, you could never really
I
be mad at that dude. It just comes
I
with the territory.
I think for as much as different of kind of uh player types as they
Hmm.
are, Robbie and Dion, I think both of them are beautifully unorthodox
Hmm. And
in
complimentary.
the way they play their basketball. I think they will both shoot in any sort of Dion would adjust his shot for any sort of situation, and
Yep.
Robbie does the same. Overall grade uh, for this season.
Yeah, I don't. There's no way I can give it anything less than an A. I mean, this is an A. I think an A plus. I still want to leave room for an A plus, right?
Yeah,
And this program still hasn't made a Sweet 16. I would have liked to win the conference outright. There are a few things that kept it from being an A plus, a few blemishes, and that's fine. I want room to improve, but I got to give it an A, man. A new program record for wins. You and I went through all the things that this team achieved a few weeks ago, and a lot of new records set, a lot of new standards set for what the program is and should be. And that's an A to me, Zach.
what would exceed an A plus to you?
What would exceed an A plus or what would be an A
Like,
plus?
no, well, exceed because you look at it and an A plus to me is you either beat Michigan or you get a different draw, and
Mm,
you like where does the you know what I'm saying? Like, there's not much. Like you said, there you got to leave room for an A plus. There's not that's a big plus. Like the plus is the next four wins. Like it goes from another win to a national championship.
I don't
I'm
think
not
the A plus is
questioning the
just a national
scale.
championship. Yeah, I think if we had beat Michigan and made the Sweet 16, yeah, I'll give them anything they want at
Like,
that
is there
point.
anything above an A plus? Is there an S? Like, do
I
you get
think
a or
at the S tier, wow, that's a
like what do you skip a grade? Like, what's the call? Like,
promoted to the NBA.
yeah, do you get from like what I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think I want to give it an A just for the vibes.
Hmm.
But like, if you have to have a scale, and like I feel like the scale there is tough. I'm gonna give it an A. I'm gonna be nice. I'm not gonna be nitpicky this time.
Okay.
Um, yeah, A across the board for Billiken basketball. Moving on to the diamond, Pete, or not the diamonds. Whoa, what am I doing? I got the college baseball on. Moving over to the soccer pitch.
Pitch, yeah.
Yeah, the pitch. A record this season, Pete, of 13-3-8, 5-0-3. That record, and then you can read off the hardware here. The two don't really compute.
A10 regular season champs, A10 tournament champs, NCAA College Cup, the Final Four of men's soccer.
Mhm.
Jeremy Abenel, goalkeeper of the year in the A10 first team all conference.
Should have been
Kevin
national.
Kalish, yeah. Easily a top three goalie. I know there were a couple that people liked over him, but man, oh man, was he good. Kevin Kalish, coach of the year in the A10. Drake Fournier, Abdul Karim Pare, Quentin Blair, Carlos Leatherman all made the second team. And then Jeff DiMaria, Theo Franca, and Nick Schramm all made the rookie team. So loaded up. And
Yeah.
you're right. It is odd for a team with only 13 wins and 8 ties. It's an odd record for a team that did what they did, right?
Yeah, it was an incredible run, Pete. I can't. I don't think. I still don't think we've really come to appreciate what that run like kind of meant. Um, and I forgot one award for men's basketball, and since uh we kind of talked about moments with Trey Green and Bovair, I think we're going to talk about at the end of this our awards for each. We're going to give our favorite moment.
Yeah, sure.
Um, so let's talk about the individual awards. MVP of this team. I think there is an incredible. I think there's an incredible case to be made that this goes to Jack DiMaria.
Mm, the freshman.
However, I think that the amount of penalty kicks that a player saves when it's above 10 in a season, they are the most valuable player.
Yeah, and when you look at the production, the makeup, the results of this team, it has to be Abenel, right? Because this team just they didn't score a lot. And when they were in the tournament and you're looking at the stats for all the teams that they're facing, from NC State back to Akron and Bryant and Kentucky, and you're looking at these guys who are scoring 10, 12, 15 goals in a college season. That's a big number. And I think the leader for SLU had like 6. And I think that was Blair, and 5 of those were from the penalty spot. So this was not a high. And you and I said it all season long, before we knew this was going to be a Final Four team. We're going like they need that guy who can just go get a goal. They need that killer. They don't have a killer.
No.
And you compared him to the Scott Gallagher style of like, pass the ball to death, and eventually it's going to be a goal. And it just it's just not a team that scored a lot. And
No.
so they relied on that back line, which was excellent, and the goalkeeper, which was, he was an A plus plus top tier in the country level goalkeeper, stopping PKs and making great saves all season long in the run of play.
Yeah, he was outstanding, and he, not only did he perform well on the field, but also he had that personality, that
Yeah.
brashness, that cockiness, that confidence, but not in a he wasn't overt about it. It was very subtle, dark artsy. It just he just had an edge to him, and I think that's something that every team needs. And he was just outstanding. I can't say enough about how much fun watching him play in the NCAA tournament was.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, he was a joy. And I think we're forgetting to mention the fact that he was not even expected to come back this season. It was, a court case with junior college players that gave him an extra year of eligibility, and here we
That's
are.
crazy.
Yeah, it's
Um,
wild.
which is funny because we continue to like complain about all these changes in college sports and the court cases, and then we finally benefited from one. We got one. We got
We
one,
benef
Pete.
we benefited in a big way from that one. You think of this like this French senior at SLU, and he doesn't really fit the profile of a JUCO player, but when he came over here, he was at a community college, and lo and behold, he winds up at SLU and is one of the best goalies in the country.
Uh, Pete, my favorite player this year is the ever dynamic, just sneaky, quick, fast, can cut on a dime. It's Kareem Puri. I loved watching this kid play the entire year. I mean, there's so many guys on this team that did so many cool things in both the A10 and NCAA tournament run. Hard to really kind of uh, find one player, but Blair was just exciting throughout the whole season. What about you?
Yeah, it's Quentin Blair for me. That senior presence in the back line. He was the transfer from Loyola. They stole him. They brought him over. He was the anchor in the middle of that defense in front of Abenel that made this team so hard to score on. But then the thing that became just as valuable down the stretch and in these tournament games was his penalty kick taking. He took five this season and he nailed all five. And
Um,
and that was all five that the team had all season. You put him on the spot and he hit five kicks that were unstoppable. And I don't mean that like, oh, he's really good at it. I mean like literally a human being could not have reacted in time to get to the spot where he put the ball, like forcefully in the top corner of the net every time, which a lot of kickers don't want to do because it's a little more risky. But he was just so good at it, so confident, and that swagger, that ability to do that in addition to anchoring the back line, to me just makes him just such a valuable player this year, and fun to watch. Led all non-goalkeepers in minutes. Just a steady hand. Great senior leader.
there were so many moments within the run. Um, what was your favorite? I got one. I got one in mind
If you've got one, why don't you do it first, and then we'll come to
because I
mine
did
because
spring this on you. Yeah, my
you did
bad.
spring it on me.
I'm gonna go with the goal to send the Billikens to the College Cup.
Mm,
The where he put them on skates, took it end line and drilled it across, and it flicked on into the net. It was just that whole game was insane. It
you're
was
talking about at Akron. At
at
Akron.
Akron, yes,
So
the
SLU is down.
Akron,
SLU's down 2-0 at halftime and wins the game 3-2.
yes,
Right.
yes. It was Tanner Anderson's 87th minute goal. Of course, Akron led 2-0 at halftime. And the player was sent off 27 minutes left in the game. But that moment, there were tears. He scored
Oh
that
yeah.
goal. There were tears.
Yeah, Heckenleibel was the one Di Maria also got a credit for an assist on that one. Heckenleibel's really the one who made that happen, with that ball off the end line, and Anderson just finished it as cleanly as he could have. That's a hard moment to beat, Zach. That's about as good as it got this season. I think if I'm gonna pick one, I'm gonna say it's the double overtime winner against Kentucky
Ooh,
that
that
our
was a
guy,
great one.
our breakout player of the year, Jack DiMaria, got.
Yeah.
These were actually his only two goals of the season, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's
Um,
right. Because his first goal, there was something about his first career goal coming in the NCAA tournament or something.
right, yeah. So Kentucky scored 4.5 minutes into the game, and everybody's panicking. Di Maria in the 86th minute ties it at 1, right? So this thing goes to overtime. We play out the first period with no scoring, and then on an assist by Leatherman in the second overtime period.
You know what? I'm sorry, Carlos. I really enjoyed watching Carlos Leatherman play.
Leatherman is a blast to watch because you could get a bicycle kick goal. You could get the best like juke midfield, put a guy on skates you've ever seen, or you could get the stupidest red card you've ever seen in your life. And that wild card energy is what I love about him.
the
You never know what you're gonna
that's the Vinnie Jones,
get. That's right.
the Eric Cantona.
Yeah.
There's two guys named, and that's just because I watched both their Netflix documentaries this week.
Man, like you're getting deep into Netflix at that point.
Oh my god, I'm deep into every like entertainment avenue. This is something that you people should know about me by now. I think there's only one grade. I think it's a unanimous grade to give this team. Truly incredible run, and it's an A plus.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. I think when you're one of the last four teams standing, and this is a team that has won 10 national championships. I don't think an A plus has to be the 11th star. But I think that this is not a grade all season long we would have thought that they would get, right? Because coming into the tournament, they're like 9-3-8. And you're just like, they don't, they're a good team, they're solid, they're skilled, they just don't score goals. But then in the NCAA tournament, they played some of the most exciting games that we've ever seen at the college level.
Okay, so I figured out the grading situation. It's graded on a curve, Pete. It's based on yes. Okay, now I'm with it.
It's purely
now
subjective.
I'm with it. So
they're not taking tests. They're not turning in papers here.
But I mean, like, I think the ultimate final exam is: do you finish your season at a logical conclusion?
Sure.
Like, you can sit there and that Billiken team that Billiken basketball team loses to Michigan in the first round, and you can say, okay, that's when it should have ended. But like, what, like, so okay, that's an A plus, right? This men's soccer team defied the expectations, and therefore they are immediately an A plus.
Correct.
Pete, let's talk about women's soccer. Let's get into women's soccer. Not as much hardware as we are used to, given that they finished the season. While they had a 14-4-2 record, they only went 8-1 in conference, which only is outrageous. But that is the expectation with Billiken women's soccer. Only what? One of the year award, Pete.
Yeah, which is crazy. Caroline Shire, co-rookie of the year and all rookie team. Izzy Lubert was the only first teamer, it's crazy because there are other years where that's just basically been the Bills starting lineup, right? Like as an act of charity, they included some other players from other teams on those first teams. And then you had Hannah Larson and Julia Simon second team. Blakely Hockett and Adi Brosder also made the rookie team, along with Caroline Shire. So not nearly the representation we're used to seeing from this team on the all-conference team, Zach.
We do have some individual awards to hand out, whatever that means to you. The MVP this season, Pete, I'll let you introduce this one. I'll talk about the breakout performance, then we'll get to our favorites.
Yeah, the MVP's got to be Julia Simon. When you look at individual production, yes, she did miss some games, but she still managed to come back and then lead the team in points, led them in goals. And that's, not even close to being the leader in shots or shots on goal. But she was that sort of, decisive player that they needed out there. After losing players like Emily Gaby and some of the other like really killer scorers they've had in the past. This team just didn't have that. And Julia Simon was the one who came in, again, a little bit late this season, but stepped up in a really big way.
Yeah, I think the breakout star here, Pete, is going to be Addie Brosder. Um,
Yeah.
she plays in 20 games, didn't start a single one, still nets 5 goals, 13 total points. And you know, she is on the kind of the youth movement. I believe she was she a sophomore this year? Freshman this year.
Yeah, she was a
Yeah.
freshman.
Yeah. Comes in
Yeah.
as a freshman. I don't know why I thought she was a sophomore. Comes in as a freshman, plays the same amount of games as Izzy Lubert, only gets 680 minutes, scores 5 goals. I mean, you know, just efficient. Five on 14 as a freshman. I think that's a great performance and not something you expected from a freshman right off the bat.
Yeah, versatile too. She can play the defense, she can play the
Yep.
top line, she can play anywhere. So that's a really dynamic player to have on this team. I think any of the three all rookie team representatives on this team could have had an argument for breakout player of the year. But Zach, who's your favorite player of the year?
I really enjoy watching Hope Kim play.
Yeah,
I like she just reminds me of Emily Gaby, but like from a different world.
yeah.
Like they have the same game in a lot of ways. The strength, the speed. It's just that like you know, Gaby plays lower to the ground. Hope Kim's taller, can play in the air a little bit more. I just really like her style of play, and I think at times she's just kind of the physically imposing nature, especially early in the season, is fun to watch.
I
And
do too.
even into the A10 conference. I mean, there's really not a lot of players that can go toe to toe with her.
Every time I look at their roster, I'm surprised she's listed at 5'8" because she does play like
Oh, she's taller than me, sir.
yeah, it doesn't make sense. They're sandbagging on that
Yes.
on that height. Like she plays big, not the fastest like breakaway player, but really skilled.
She's
That
not quick like
combinations.
Gaby, but like if she gets going, top speed, she can move.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Um, Pete, what was your favorite moment this season? That's tough. I feel.
Well, backing up a little bit, Zach, I actually
Oh,
had
yours.
Izzy.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I'm a huge piece of shit. Is what it is, and I don't care about other people's opinions.
I had Izzy Lubert as as my player, my favorite player. I loved she was the only first teamer here, and she was that senior defender. This felt like a very much transitional year for this team,
Mhm.
and I think she was that really steady, solid presence in the backfield that they really needed this year. So I do think they were lacking some of the more decisive scoring up top. But she really anchored a back line that was hurt at times. Playing in front of a goalie that was new after someone who had been there for a really long time. So it was a tough assignment, and I think she did really well this season.
Let's talk about moments because I mean this again. It's an odd season. Really, really tough to kind of pinpoint some big time events.
Yeah, it was, and this was the tough part here is that not only did they finish second in the league and not win the conference tournament for the first time in 7 years, right? But it went to Dayton, right? They like
Yeah.
Dayton's the team that wound up winning it all, and Dayton beat SLU. That was SLU's only loss in the regular season. But I really hoped that in the A10 tournament final, like it was Dayton on the other side, and that
Mhm.
SLU could continue to establish that dominance. But instead, they were bumped out by Rhode Island in the semifinals. So my moment of the year, it's hard to call it a moment, but SLU tied Loyola Chicago 0-0 on October 26th to end the regular season.
You
And
son of a
then
bitch.
on that Saturday, that was a Sunday. On that Saturday, they hosted Loyola at home in the A10
Mhm.
tournament and beat them 6-0. It was just an absolute clobbering. And I was hoping that would portend a little bit more success in the next game that didn't materialize ultimately. But it's hard to take an individual moment from that game. I just saw that game as like the response, right, to the unceremonious tie to end the regular season.
You want to talk about responses? I will see the law yours, and I will raise you the beating. I'll put look. I tried. It didn't work out. Um, Indiana, the win against Indiana, coming back after losing to 4-1 to Penn State. Obviously, Missouri, you expect to win that game. Indiana, again, it's a Big Ten team.
Hmm.
A little bit more of a soccer pedigree than Mizzou. So coming back and winning 1-0 against Indiana, I think was a boost that said like, okay, we're still okay. This isn't gonna go downhill really fast. Like this is gonna even out. Unfortunately, obviously the loss to Iowa followed, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Just a kind of a rebuilding, reloading, retooling season, and not a lot to really write home about.
Which is crazy to say for a team that went 8-1-1 in the league, went to the, you know, went 14. What did we say?
Four
14,
and
4
two,
and 4,
yeah,
14,
two.
4 and 2 in the regular season. I mean, those are really good records. For us to be like, yeah, what can you do? It's a reloading season, right? So it just speaks to the very, very high standard of this program.
What's your ending grade here? Speaking of like high standards and expectations.
Yeah, I think I got to give this one a B. They didn't make an NCAA tournament, so you can't give you an A there. It's just they this is like the straight A student that has a paper or a test that isn't as good as their usual standard. It's just what happens. You set the standard. Katie Shields has set the standard so high for this program. Every once in a while you have a season like this that's just a good season, and it's not up to the normal standard of greatness. So it's a B. I can't say that it was bad. I'm not going to give them like a C or a D, but it's just not what you expect from them, which is okay. They were younger, rebuilding, injured. There's a lot going on. What about you, Zach?
Yeah, I think C is perfectly fine. I think it just is. I don't know. It was okay. I think C. I'm
Okay,
all right.
you're a tougher grader than I am.
Yeah, I'll be. Yeah, wasn't it just? I think it was surprising that we didn't even make the final. I think
Mm.
that kind of brought me down.
The Rhode Island game was a surprise, yes.
Yeah. Let's head over to the volleyball court. Tough season. Andrea Beatty still trying to find her footing as the head coach here. 13 and 16, 5 and 13. Obviously, we've gone through a major change in college athletics. The hardware, Jetta Brenning gets the second team and the rookie team. Ellie Rink gets the rookie team. The individual awards, I think it's obvious here who the MVP is.
Oh yeah, that's Ellie Rink all the way.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, just uh, look, and a freshman too. Just an outstanding performance that I don't think anybody expected.
Right. Yeah,
Carried the
yeah.
team.
Yeah, she was amazing all year. Like going through our recaps and stuff like that, just constantly calling her, her name. It was always her. She was fantastic. Led the team in kills by over 100. She really made her mark on the program this season.
Jetta Brenning, I think you got to give the breakout performance to Jetta. It feels brutal to have her on the second team and not on MVP.
Right. I know.
That
Yeah,
that's
she
brutal.
she was very, very good. The fact that she was a freshman too, and just happened to be playing alongside a freshman who maybe made a little more noise over the course of the season, shouldn't take anything away from her performance either.
Pete, my favorite, Kennedy Cooper. I thought undersized, extremely athletic, very dynamic
Hmm.
in the way she attacked the ball. I don't know. She was an exciting player to watch.
Another freshman too, Zach.
Yes.
Um,
If
yeah,
they can
Ellie.
keep the freshmen together, I think we might have, I think that's a secret sauce.
And
which is tough.
what one thing I should have done before we did this, Zach, was see what the status was of some of the because I think this
I
team
think they've kept them all together.
did they keep them all?
I
Okay.
think so. I
Yeah,
am almost positive. I believe I heard that.
it's rink for me, but apologies to all the others. And if they indeed kept that core together, that's really, really exciting because it's, to have all your best players be freshmen is special. So very, very exciting.
Yeah, overall grade, I think it's a C. I mean, it you know it's hard. Like that's it was the A10 performance was not good, but there were some bright spots. And we'll talk about them in the favorite moments. But
Hmm.
like that non-conference was good and promising, and then things kind of fell apart in the A10.
Got away from them a bit. I think the league was deeper and it was stronger than it has been. But they still have to find a way to kind of work their way up.
Yeah,
And they can't be a bottom half program. They can definitely be a top half program, and then we really want to see them get into that kind of top three mix, with your Daytons, your Loyolas. Who am I missing? Who's the other good volleyball program? But anyway, Zach, they got to get their way back up there.
I think the moment of the year has to be taking the match at Loyola. That was a huge game, and I think that speaks to the dichotomy of the season. Right, it's
Hmm.
early season struggles. Um, like they struggled a lot, but they also had some. They reached up and they did something that really they weren't expected to do.
Yeah, especially at that point in the season too, when it looked like it was kind of getting away from them for good. That was kind of one last statement of confidence. So, yeah, that's a good one. I think for mine, it would be that SEMO game to wrap
Mhm.
up the Missouri Challenge, that new event that they got going with Missouri State, Kansas City, and SEMO. So, beat Missouri State and Kansas City on Thursday and Friday, and then on Saturday they're down 2-0 to SEMO, and then won the last three.
Oh
Very close,
yeah,
16-14 in the
I
fifth.
forgot about that.
Yeah, so it was to me that was it was like, okay, all right, they might have something here. Of course, the rest of the season didn't go the way you wanted because they started A10 play really slow after that by playing like three of the best four teams right out of the gate. But so that was kind of an unfortunate like timing of it. But at the same time, I think that to me was the moment of the season.
Yeah, going to George Mason, which is an average team, and then having to play VCU, Loyola, and Dayton back to back to back
Yep,
is a tough road to hoe.
brutal.
Um, I think I bone apple teed that, but we'll forget about it. Pete, let's talk field hockey. Um, wait, did we didn't give over we didn't give an overall grade. We did. Field
We did,
hockey,
yep.
the record 5-10 and 5-10, 5-10, 1-5 in conference. The hardware, Pete.
Yeah, the hardware, Zach. Second team all conference went to Olivia Smith. Rookie team had one representative in Macy Budd. But that's from the A10. If we're giving awards, Zach, who's your MVP on this team?
I think it's shallow. I mean, yeah, she's just been
Yeah.
unbelievable since she got here. Did we lose her to the transfer portal? Feels like we should have.
Let me check on
Or was
that.
she a
But
senior?
she was not a senior. I know that much. I think she was a sophomore this past season. Yeah, she was a freshman on the all rookie team in 24. I think she's coming back.
Yeah, I don't see
Uh,
anything has changed.
no, I can't find anything to the
No,
contrary because
nothing.
normally if she
Beautiful.
were, yeah, if she's coming back, that's huge because as
Yeah.
you said all season, she stood on her head how many times a game, you know what I mean? And she was facing like the shot differential
It's
was just
insane.
absurd. And then when you look at their actual scores, you'd be like, oh, well, this team was really close in a lot of games, and there was one reason, and it was her, and
Mhm.
that's why she's the MVP.
Truly, kind of really asking about the breakout performance. I felt like this program in general had a breakout performance.
Yeah. I know you could almost give it to the coach, the interim
Yes.
now permanent coach for that reason.
Yes.
But on here, Zach, you gave it to Sierra Larson, who's a junior, and she led the team in points this season along with Olivia Smith.
To that point, I don't think we've talked too much or enough about the way this season went. You look at like the season, you beat Ohio to open up the season, or you lose at Ball State 3-2. It's a 1-goal loss. You win 3-1 against Ohio. You win 6-0 against Lincoln Memorial. You win 2-1 at Bellarmine. You win a road match. You lose 3-0 at St. Joe's.
St. Joe's, by the way, a very, very good program
Yeah.
coming off a Final Four appearance.
Didn't we almost win that game? Wasn't it weird, or was that last season?
I don't think that was this one. This was more like kind of standing. I mean, this was one where no, like they got outshot by
Okay,
like
I thought there
40.
was one. Maybe it was the. What am I thinking of? I don't know. It doesn't matter. St. Francis at St. Francis, you lose by a goal. You lose by 4 at VCU. Okay, you beat Maryville 4-1. Okay, you win at Richmond. At Richmond 2-1. It's the
For the
first
first time
time.
ever. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the first times you've ever won an away game. Was that the first time they've ever won an away game in the A10? I think it might be.
Yeah, it was like within the context of this monumental
Yeah.
upset. So SLU's first A10 road victory since 2007, which was only the second season they played in the A10.
Yeah.
Or I guess that would have been the third technically. So
But
yeah, it's something that hadn't happened in basically 2 decades. And Richmond is normally a top half team in this league, and typically you just don't beat the top half teams in the league.
and here's the frustrating part is then you go on a 6-game losing streak.
Hmm.
And I don't fault any of these players or this coach because they didn't have a coach and they didn't have a roster. Like the roster is like 5 women short. So you lose by 1 in OT to UC Davis.
Hmm.
Um, you drop a 7-0 decision at Iowa. Okay, that's fine.
Top 10 team for getting
Yeah, no shit. You lose in double overtime in a shootout at LaSalle 2-1. You lose to Lock Haven 1-0. At Davidson, you get your ass kicked. But you go to Queens and you lose in a shootout. Like it's so very clear that this team just ran out of gas.
3 of the last 6 were lost in overtime or a shootout, and 1 was lost by 1 goal. 2, they didn't really have a chance. They were blowouts, fine. But that's 4 results that could have swung the other way. Even if you swing 2 of them the other way, this is a historically good
Crazy.
team, field hockey result within the A10. They were this close, Zach. And as you said, they had 15 players on the roster this year. Normally they roster something like 22,
Mm-hmm.
23, something like that. So you're right. They ran out of gas. They didn't have enough. If they have all of the players, the personnel they need this season, and if they didn't lose their top players to the portal, I know they lost a couple to graduation, but you got to feel really excited about this young coach and this program and their new facility, and kind of be like, they could be a little dangerous.
Yeah. And I think, it's a testament to the women that also came before them too. Like
For sure.
that's what this is for. This is for all the the ones that had to ride in vans to Lou Hughes or whatever. Um. Anyway, who's your favorite, man?
I got to give it to Shallow. I mean, she was just phenomenal this season.
I'm a fan of Shia Dry. I just think
Yeah,
she looks tough as nails.
yeah.
And she scares the shit out of me.
She is
Like
tough.
she just looks like I like that kind of workman. Like I don't know, just feels very uh like a gritty player. I mean, I think this team gets a B.
Okay, so we're flipping what we did on soccer here. I'll give them a C. I think there's just something about that record that's like, 5-10, 1-5. I'm not quite ready to say, all right, good job, like they were that close, and and it's with all of the caveats in the world
Yeah, on a curve.
on a curve. But look, I'm confident they're a B or better team this coming season.
Let's talk women's basketball. 12-21, 5-13 in conference. This is going to be a quick one.
It really is not much hardware, and it all went to one player, Alyssa
Yes.
Kirkenmeyer, Zach, third team all conference, rookie of the year, all rookie team, all defensive team. She was phenomenal, and everything we said all season long was you have to keep Alyssa Kirkenmeyer and build around her, and
Yes.
that's that. And to their credit, it looks like that's what they've done.
Uh, the mid award MVP, Alyssa Kirkenmeyer. The breakout performance, Alyssa Kirkenmeyer. The fan favorite, Pete, say it with me,
Alyssa
Alyssa
Kirkenmeyer.
Kirkenmeyer.
Yeah,
And the overall grade for this team this season, I think we got to give them a D. I
yeah,
think only saved by the immediate kind of recruiting, the retainment of Kirkenmeyer, and then seeing us get a little bit better through the portal and through recruiting, and kind of actually having some players. Like, it doesn't feel like it's Travis Ford's final season.
that's right. Yep.
It doesn't feel like a foregone conclusion.
It very easily could have. Had she
Yes,
left, had she
like
left with some
last
brighter
year felt
lights,
more like it. Like this
yeah,
past season felt more like it. I think there's light at the end of the tunnel, and I think she certainly has a pathway out. That being
yeah,
Rebecca Tillett.
yeah. I think you're absolutely right. Like if these new players coming in are what they need to be, and I still think I would feel better if she added one more player who has a few of the
Yes,
attributes that I think this team lacked. But if the freshmen are as good as we need them to be, and some of these transfers are maybe as good a bargains as I think they are, um, I this is going to be a better team, and I'm curious to see what they can do in the league. Certainly, they have a lot of room to grow. Up from this season, because I'm with you. I think it's a D, Zach. But in terms of moments, is there anything that you have as kind of your moment of the season?
Alyssa Kirkenmeyer getting the pass, passing to Alyssa Kirkenmeyer.
Just in general, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Alyssa Kirkenmeyer spin move, any of them. Um, yeah, again, overall great. I think it's a D. It's a tough year. Speaking of tough years, we might have to have a chat here. We're gonna talk. We're gonna do baseball. This should go interestingly. Um, 20-34 record, 11-19. First year under, I guess, head coach Miles Miller. Now I guess you got the full time gig now.
Yep.
The hardware, Pete. Not a lot to go there.
No, not a lot to hand out. Riley Ifrig and Ben Cherico were both second team all conference. But more importantly, Zach, who's the MVP in our book for this team?
Man, I think it's got to be Blazier or Ifrig, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. If I had to just give it to one, I think I'm going with Ifrig.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think he kind of led the team in a few more statistical categories. But yeah, I think there were a lot of there was I don't think you could say depth, but there was parity on this team. There wasn't like a clear number one star or anything like that. But in my book, it's Ifrig was number one.
Breakout performance, I think, goes to Drew Kleinheider. I think he was just fantastic all season, especially as a young player,
Yep.
freshman, local. Got to give it
Sec-
to him.
Second on the team in batting average. One of the I think he was fourth in RBIs, just up there in terms of production, despite being a freshman. So yeah, I think that one's a no brainer.
Um, what about who's your favorite here? I've got one way outside the box, and I think you might be able to guess it, but I'm not sure.
So mine, I'm going to go with Ben Cherico. Little up and down, although I think he got better as the season went on. But I think Stu said he was the only player in the country to throw multiple complete game no hitters. He was just one of those guys when he was on, and I really like that. I really like that about him. He's the player who got me, I think, the most excited this season, and did it multiple times. Just threw some real gems, Zach.
I'm going to go with Ahmad Duff.
Oh, interesting.
I'm going to rise up, short kings, rise up. Like this dude is fast. He's small. The dude can play baseball though. I enjoyed watching him patrol center field in the limited minutes he got. He's awesome. He's just a little spark plug out there, and I love him.
Yeah.
Favorite moments, man. I don't even have one to be honest with you. Um, I think there's what do you got for me? You got something. I'm
I
blanking.
think I'm probably gonna have to go with Cherico again. I think I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to go with one of his one of his real gems.
Yeah.
I, he had a couple. Let's see which one. It was Fordham on May 8th. That
Yeah.
was just a fantastic game. But he had other starts, Zach. Dayton, 7 scoreless runs. George Washington, I think, was the other one. George Washington,
Yeah. George Washington was
maybe I'll
nasty.
go with that
Yeah.
because that was the one where he struck out 10 as well. So I'm going to go with his performance against George Washington.
Okay. I'm with it. I'm right there with you.
Yeah,
That's a complete game shutout too.
it
That's
is.
crazy. Like that's wild. You do not see complete games in baseball
No,
hardly at
it
all.
was so funny when Stu after that the second one, the Fordham one, when Stu said he was the only guy to do it. I was like, "What? That can't be right. There's hundreds of it." And then you start thinking about it, you're like, "Oh, college baseball. Like number one, nobody throws complete games, and number two, you just can't make it nine
Yeah.
innings without being blemished in some way." So, those are days where he was just beyond locked in.
The overall grade, man, I'm gonna sit with an incomplete here.
Yeah.
What bothers me is the like there are these again there are people that defend how the situation surrounding the Hendrickson slew Chris May split, but like the people that kind of rushed online to like, oh my God, Miles Miller, like putting him in the center of this like imaginary war, like
Hmm.
this imaginary online fight about whether or not the firing was correct. It's just ridiculous. Like I feel bad because like Miles his coaching tenure here should be viewed um you know sans the situation in which he was brought in, but like it just I don't know, it feels just felt gross to like kind of put him in this in between like you should I don't know. I'm annoyed by the whole thing still. I just think it's a very tough situation to put an assistant coach in, firing his head coach and then hiring him as the head coach. I don't know, that feels
Yeah,
weird.
yeah, it was an unwinnable situation, and now he's going to have to. Now that he's the permanent head coach, he's going to really have to build a new team.
Yeah.
Ian Blazer portal, Hank Gomerick portal, Riley Ifrig portal, Andrew Banda, like a lot of the names you heard us say the most this season. Those guys are all transferring. Brendan Stressler, Owen Kelly, Graham Mastros. Um, oh no, sorry. That's from a previous year. Ben
Jesus,
Cherico.
is there?
Yeah, no. Yeah, sorry. Ben Cherico though from this season is in the portal. After we just talked about how good he was on multiple occasions, so um, they're gonna have to go get a lot this offseason. It's gonna be it's a tough climb. So I don't necessarily think next season is gonna be much different. I think it's gonna be a couple years to get out of this situation, Zach.
The softball team went 23 and 28, 13 and 10. Not a great follow up to an NCAA tournament, but I mean, this is a program that lacks funding and lacks proper facilities. So, I think a down year post NCAA tournament is perfectly reasonable.
It's hard to call it a down year in the context of the
Yeah,
history of this program. This is probably an above average season by their standards. So only a down year because of what they were coming off. And again, they lost some transfers as well. In terms of hardware, Zach, Abby Olsis was a first teamer, but I think they had some all academic team kind of stuff. The real the name you're not seeing as much this season is one who you put up as an MVP candidate, Zach, and that's Abby Mallow.
yeah,
I think just on numbers wise, Abby Olsis would be it. Second teamer, led the team in a lot of categories, but Abby Mallow, the reason we just didn't say her name as much this season is because she was getting the Barry Bonds treatment.
yeah,
They were just throwing around her. Like nobody was giving her anything to hit. She still was productive when she was able to swing the bat.
right.
But they did not have enough else in this lineup to punish you, right? So if you threw around Mallow, you could kind of get out of it. And this team just didn't produce a lot at the plate this season, unfortunately.
This is totally random, but I should stream 82 and 0, trying to go 0 and 82 until I get it. That's how I become famous.
If you're not following us on Twitter, Zach has started to post some of his escapades in the now viral 82 and 0 game, and has nothing to do with softball, but
No,
it's a
it
fun
is fun.
follow.
The overall grade, well, I mean, so breakout performance has to go to Anna Christ, I think. And
Yeah.
then fan favorite, I think you've got to, Mallow's got to get it. She has
Yep.
been neutralized on the stat sheet this year, but I think, she still is the everybody's, classic um, idea of a student athlete.
She is, and I'm glad you said it that way because like find you a student athlete who can do both, right? Like
Right.
she's the one who kept popping up on like their social media feed is like, hey, the whole team went out to support her senior presentation. I don't think it's officially defending her thesis because it's not grad school or whatever, but in biomedical engineering, which is not a
That's a
major that a lot of
cakewalk, man. That's the kind of major you put a basketball player in.
exactly.
At North Carolina, biomedical engineering.
Yeah. Hey, oh, you went to one of those fake prep schools. You're in four high schools in 4 years. Do we have the major for you? Um, it's incredibly strenuous. It's a difficult program. I knew some BMEs at SLU, and they were not always the most fun people to be around. But she managed to be, an all conference softball player at times in her career, despite this program, and successfully completed the program with a high GPA and like did her presentation in front of her whole team who was there to support her. And yeah, you can't not be the fan favorite when you're the senior getting the Barry Bonds treatment and doing one of the hardest programs the school has to offer. So, yeah, she was amazing in that sense.
Overall grade, Pete, I'm going to give it a C plus.
C plus about right. I went B minus, just because I thought
You old softy, you.
I'm okay, but they were the 2 seed in the conference, right?
Which is
That's
wild how, because they certainly did not, present as a 2 seed.
13 and 10 in this conference got you a 2 seed. It's
That's
because the
crazy.
1 seed was way out in front of everybody else. And then I think there was like a four-way tie beyond that, right? So everybody just kind of beat everybody outside of first place, and SLU wound up because of tiebreakers being the 2 seed. Unfortunately, they did lose in the conference tournament very quickly at home. And I think that's what makes the season a little bit of a disappointment, Zach,
That
is
was
because you
that
kind
was
of thought,
awful.
well, at least they've got a good seed. They're at home. They're well positioned. And then it was just bang, bang, they were out. So that's where the letdown for me was. But otherwise, this was a fairly successful season.
Speaking of a letdown, how about Fordham beating Loyola Chicago in the final?
Very surprising. Very surprising.
Um, Pete, let's I think that's gonna do it for our awards. Let us know how this went. I kind of threw this together. But I think we'd have to, if we want to get swimming and dive. It didn't feel fair to really like give out awards when we're not seeing them, or like getting any chance to watch them
It was really
play.
just tennis, track and field, cross country, swimming and diving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, just very tough. So yeah, let us know what you think, and we'll act accordingly. Let's talk. Actually, Pete, let's talk about 2 Men in a Garden.
Yeah, let's do it, Zach. And if you follow Two Men in a Garden on Instagram, which you should at Two Men Salsa, they've got a giveaway going right now. Win a signed autographed pickleball paddle, St. Louis Shock Pickleball Club. Follow, like, comment your favorite pickle or player. And then they tagged the St. Louis Shock Major League Pickleball team. Go over there right now, follow them, do all the things you got to do, get involved and see if you can win a little paddle here. It's I don't know, Zach. Like my wife and I keep saying we're going to get into pickleball soon. We we
Oh my
we're
God.
we're and the reason I say that, number one, I'm old. Number two, it's just because like our kids are now going to be 10 and 7 this summer, and our daughter is finally starting like when we go up to the pool, which we do like 4 times a week all summer long. Um, she's finally starting to like kind of run around on her own with her friends, and we don't have to worry about her in the water and stuff like that. And so it's kind of like we can actually like hang out and not like have to keep 2 eyes on kids at all times. Um, Maybe let's head over to the pickleball courts and get involved there. So
Okay.
I don't know, Zach. I think I might have to get in on this giveaway and see if I can get a paddle and maybe start my own career here. This could be big things. But in the
So you're
meantime,
not going with endurance sports. I'm disappointed.
you've known me long enough by now to know I'm not running more than a mile at a time anytime.
Oh,
2meninagarden.com. Head over there, use our code MMP for free shipping. Tell them we sent you. We like them. They like us. They support us. That's 2meninagarden.com.
women's basketball got a commitment from Jamila James, a 6'5" center from St. Mary's Riken School in Maryland, and she plays with Team Durant AAU.
Yep.
Originally from Trinidad and Tobago, she moved to Fort Washington, south of DC. She went to Shining Star Sports Academy in Virginia before St. Mary's Riken. So she went in the right. I don't get that joke.
What I'm saying, it's not really a joke.
It's
This
not a
is this
joke.
is real. I just made a joke a minute ago about,
Oh,
the kind of like prep schools that are a little bit questionable. And
oh, okay.
I couldn't really figure out what Shining Star Sports Academy was, but I can tell you St. Mary's Riken is a legitimate high school. So she went
Okay.
to, instead of going from, I'm not going to name names, but certain people have gone from Chaminade to Link Academy for their senior year. She did it the other
Damn.
way around and went to the better high school to finish up her career. So that's good. I like that. She was originally a 2027 recruit, but reclassified to 26. So she's also on the young side. Averaged 13 points, 12 rebounds, and 3 blocks a game for her high school team this season. Second team all conference. I found some video from the season. She's pretty raw offensively, but she's clearly athletic. She moves well, natural shot blocker. She plays really hard, which is what gets you all those rebounds, in addition to being tall, long, raw, all those things. She's young. She's going to benefit immensely from going up against Alyssa Kirkenmeyer in practice every day. So I like it, Zach. Like I said, I don't think the roster is done. In my opinion, I still think they need somebody who's going to shoot, who's going to handle the ball. This could be a single player. You get one key transfer, and that kind of checks all the boxes. But maybe they think the freshmen are ready to go like they were last season, and maybe they won't use those last 2 scholarships. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. But Zach, in the meantime, they started practice on Monday the 1st, like we had mentioned earlier. So that's exciting, right? They're all on campus except for one player.
Yeah, they did have a team dinner at Tillett's house. I believe there was a social media post. They said missing Naomi, as if everyone was there except one player, um, which kind of makes sense. It sounds like the roster's done, but I still think they could add someone. Pete, track and field. NCAA West first round, May 27th in Fayetteville, Arkansas, which is unbelievable facility, by the way. Tristan Boatman in the hammer throw did not advance of the top 48. So we're not really sure, but he had an X by his name. So I don't know if that was a fault or a disqualification of some kind, but that he definitely participated. His top mark this season was 64.07, which would have been 17th overall. He is one of only 5 Billikens to ever earn 5 career medals at the A10 championships. He holds the school record in the hammer throw and shot put, both indoor and outdoor. Maddie competed in the javelin. She finished 39th overall with a throw of 44.03 meters. Her season high throw of 49.21 would have finished 16th. She ends her college career with the school record in the javelin and 1 gold at the A10 meet this season. That is going to do it for this week. I hope you enjoyed our half-assed award show. We are working on an interview. I don't know when that will come about. Hopefully we'll get it for the summer to fill some time. But we will talk to you soon. Pete, roll Bills.
Roll Bills and roll Tim Ream and the USMNT.
Hell yeah.